Okay, this is section 5.1, writing linear equations in slope-intercept form, and we're also going to do a little bit of 5.2 toward the end. So the first thing we have to do is remind ourselves what slope-intercept form is. And slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m, remember, represents the slope. And if I have a positive coefficient of x right here, then I'm going to have a positive slope. And a positive slope will rise as you look at it from going left from right. And if it's a negative value, it will fall as you look at it to left to right. Now the b value is the y-intercept, and that's the point where the line is going to cross the y-axis. So now what they want us to do, they want us to write the equation if we're given a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 7. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my base equation up here, because it's y is equal to mx plus b. I'm given a slope of -2. Hey, that's my m value. Y is equal to -2x and a y-intercept of 7. Oh, the y-intercept, that's my b value, so just it's a positive 7, so I'm going to write plus 7. Now let's look at the next one. I've got a slope of -3 and it crosses the y-axis at -4. Notice this one says crosses the y-axis at -4. That's just another way to say the y-intercept. So when I look at my base equation again, I see I've got y equals, I've got a slope, it's a positive 3. Put my x in, and it crosses the y-axis at -4, so I have y is equal to 3x minus 4. So we're just plugging in the values, we're not doing any real work. Now another thing that they can ask us to do is they can actually just give us a graph. Now we've got a couple of ways that we can work this one. Notice on this nice graph we have, oh, they gave us nice 2 pretty points. First thing we need is the slope. Well, let's see what the slope is. There's 2 ways we can do it. We can use the slope formula, which is slope is equal to y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. Now there's different times it's good to use this. Now looking at this problem, well, it's not really that far apart. Let's see what my rise is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise is equal to 4. Let's see what my run is. My run is 1, 2. So the slope is the rise over the run. Well, what's 4 divided by 2? It's 2. So my slope for this equation is just 2, and I just counted using my graph. Now if I wasn't comfortable doing that, the other thing I could do is I could just use my formula. Make sure I label everybody. I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2. So when I do that, I have 0, y sub 1 minus y sub 2 minus -4 over 2 minus 0. So that gives me a positive 4 over 2, which gives me a slope of 2. So I'm going to write that value down. My slope is 2. Now what's my y-intercept? They gave it to me. I don't even have to work to find it. The y-intercept is the value where my line crosses the y-axis. It crosses at -4. So my y-intercept is equal to -4. So my equation is just y equals 2x minus 4. And I'm done. Okay, now in section 5.2, we're going to be writing the equations if we're given the slope and a point. Now to do this, we're going to use an equation called point slope. Now when you look at it like this, it may look a little bit new to you, but it's really not. See, point slope is y minus y sub 1 is equal to the slope, or m, times x minus x sub 1. So let's look and see why it's not really new to us. Well, what equation do we already have where we use 2 points and a slope? Well, slope. We use the slope formula. And the slope formula tells me I've got m is equal to y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. So we're going to plug in all the values that we know. Now in this case, I've got the point x and y. So we are going to say, well, what's my slope? Well, that's 2/3. So 2/3 is equal to y minus 5 over x minus 2. So I just plugged these guys in. I said this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2, just so I could plug it in. Now if I want to fix it so that I don't have a fraction, all I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by x minus 2. Now that cancels out. So over here I have x minus 2. Oh, well look what I have. I have x minus 2 times 2/3 is equal to y minus 5. Now if I move this around a little bit, maybe I put the y's on the left, I have y minus 5 is equal to 2/3 times x minus 2 just by switching it around. So the point slope formula is really just the slope formula moved around. Okay, now let's try. We're going to write an equation of a line that passes through the point 6, -3 and has a slope of 2. Well, I'm going to save myself some time and I'm going to write down the basic equation for point slope. So that's y minus y sub 1 is equal to the slope times x minus x sub 1. Now one of the things that's going to be really important for me to remember is that I'm going to put in a number for y sub 1, I'm going to put in a number for the slope, and I'm going to put in a number for x sub 1. Well, there's my x value, there's my y value. I really don't have much work to do. So now I have y minus -3 is equal to my slope, which is -2, times x minus 6, close parentheses. Am I finished? Nope. I have a double negative. Your English teacher just sent you back to your desk to rewrite that. So now I have y plus 3 is equal to -2 times x minus 6. Now this is the point slope form. So I can instantly look at this and know my point and my slope just by looking at this equation. Now something really neat happens when we simplify. And I'm going to do the simplification work in purple. Now if we simplify and we go ahead and distribute, okay, I have y plus 3. Now what's -2 times x? That's equal to -2x. What's -2 times -6? It's a positive 12. I'm going to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have y is equal to -2x plus 9. Now what just happened? all of a sudden, when I simplified the point-slope form, I automatically turn it in to slope-intercept form. So when you simplify point-slope, you get slope-intercept. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, the line passes through the point, -3, 0, and has a slope of 1/3. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down point-slope form again, because that's going to help me out. So I have y minus y sub 1 is equal to my slope times x minus x sub 1. And I remember that I'm going to put a number in for y sub 1, I'm going to put a number in for the slope, and a number in for x sub 1. Here's my x value and my y value. Now here we go. Y minus 0 is equal to my slope of 1/3 times x minus -3. Well, what's y minus 0? That 0 doesn't do anything. I'm going to leave it there for right now, though. So I have y minus 0 is equal to 1/3 x plus 3. Now this is point slope. Okay, now I'm going to simplify, and when I simplify, it's going to turn into what? That's right, slope-intercept. Well, y minus 0 is just going to be just y. So now I have y is equal to, I'm going to distribute 1/3 times x gives me 1/3 x, 1/3 times 3, numerator times numerator gives me 3, denominator times denominator gives me 3. Oh, 3 over 3 is just 1. So the slope-intercept form is y is equal to 1/3 x plus 1, and that's all there is to it.